So, viewers, welcome. This is a winter Saturday. So, I think winter has just set in,
Yeah,
and we have Kunal with us. Me and Kunal is connected in LinkedIn more than a decade, and since the beginning of his uh, endeavor,
right,
I am watching or closely seeing his activities. A lot of thing, and
right.
Kunal has a lot of energy
Yeah,
which he has demonstrated over a decade. And viewers, the youngsters, many of you know Kunal, and those who do not know will come to know through this podcast. And the power of YouTube is that it can reach up to the farthest corner of our country, India.
right.
And obviously, it's a global channel, so it will reach other countries also. The power is that if someone has a mobile phone and has a 2 GB data per day, that person can also watch, which is very good thing, uh, because youngsters, you will have an introduction of Kunal throughout this podcast that will be very useful for you. Okay,
Sure.
so over to you, Kunal, and I'll ask my first question.
Yeah.
Uh, can you share your journey and motivation behind creation of the VLSI system design?
Okay, okay. So you can think of my entrepreneurship journey as an accidental entrepreneurship. So 2010, I'm 2010 pass out from IIT Bombay. I've done my master's in nanotechnology, like electron beam lithography, manufacturing. That was my core field. And in the 3 years of MTech project, there was one 3 month of R&D project, which was on SoC design, physical design, Ahir microprocessors, which is based on the Spark architecture. Today we have got a lot of RISC-V, but in those days, Spark was a big thing. That was one of the architectures, and my R&D project was on that. At that point of time, the 3 months of R&D project which we did, that is the one that actually got me into a design job in Qualcomm. My mentor over there, who was the mentor for this R&D project, he wanted to scale this kind of technique or formula globally. He was the one who wanted to. His name is Professor Madhav Desai from IIT Bombay. He was my guide. So it was his vision statement, and I was a student. Wanted to scale up this kind of formula, which will give them immediate jobs. In a span of just 3 months. So that was the exact core idea behind going all of it. So 2010, when I passed out, I joined Qualcomm. Then we parallelly founded the company. It was a proprietorship company. We wanted to do what was set as a vision statement for us at IIT Bombay. But at that point of time, there was only two or three websites which had got decent content. The content was not at all structured. It was like scattered here and there. It was way in a very bad condition compared to what we have today. But those days, the content was really a problem. And second thing, most of the first of all, there was lack of content, and second thing, there was nothing on hands-on. It was all theory, a lot of theory. So that was something that so we had to start from scratch. We had to make everything right from the PowerPoint presentation level. We went to that level. We basically put a lot of graphics in the content. We digitized the whole thing. And 2011 is when we founded the website along with the structured content. The first thing we were struggling was to how to structure the whole content. That was the first thing that we did. Then 2011 to 2014, the problem was to make a very good content and deliver it online. The issue is with the EDA tools. Those days, the EDA tools are still expensive for learning purposes. But those days, accessing an EDA tool through online, that it itself was a very big mission. It was not as easy as you find it today. It was very expensive, and to get it done, the tech was not there at that point of time. So somewhere around 2012, we were just browsing through many websites. I remembered that my one of my projects at IIT Bombay was done using Magic VLSI tool. At that point of time, Magic was a VLSI layout tool which I had used for my MTech, one of my MTech analog design project. So that's how we started from magic. We started to research about the layout tool, and from there we contacted many people who were involved in the open source. That's when we learned what is the meaning of open source. We learned what was the meaning of open source EDA tools. So we contacted all the EDA owners, and some there was one very good person. His name is Tim Edwards. Now he's in eFabulous. So Tim Edwards was the first one in 2012 2013 who who gave me utility that there was something called as Qflow. There is an open source EDA tools available, Qflow, which is easy, very simple to download. Just download, login, everything works fine, works perfectly fine. So that is where actually the real open source work actually started. Fortunately, at that point of time, US was also going through the same problem where the access of the EDA tools to the students and to the researchers was limited. That's when eFabulous also started. So VSD and eFabulous kind of started at the same time. It's just that eFabulous founders were way more experienced than what VSD was, because I was also just a college pass out at that point. 2011 was just a college, 1 year experience in the industry. But whatever we used to learn, we used to start documenting it. We used to start creating examples. Those days we used to make examples all using idiot all using open source idiot tools. We started that thing at that early itself, 2012 2013. We started documenting all of our work, the theory and the labs, using all the idiot tools. Then we met one more professor. His name is Sung Wai Huang. He had created the first open source the EDA timing engine. It was called Open Timer at that point of time. Very complicated at that point of time, but then he simplified. Based on, we requested him that can you simplify it, can you simplify the user interface at least for the students. And then since my background was entirely on STA, we took that tool, we developed some lab examples and made it very interesting for the participants. 2014 we went live. 2014 is the place where we actually launched all the courses using all the open source data tools. And there was, of course, online first of all was a big bottleneck for most of them, because they simply didn't wanted to pay for a content which is available online. They all wanted customers wanted physical brick and mortar kind of structure. But we said, okay, let's see what happens. But still the response was pretty good. I mean, the mainstream main crowd didn't respond very well, but the tier 2 tier 3 cities, they luckily, I don't know whether what happened, but they were able to access my content on Udemy, and they were ready to pay. Like, it was very cheap. It was like 500 rupees or 600 rupees, which at those point people were selling VLSI courses at 1 lakh in that range. And why I made the cost a little bit lower. Plus, we gave high quality. We gave a totally high quality content, not mediocre content. The content was really high quality. Graphics, lot of graphics. For explaining one simple concept, I used close to 20 slides. If you just want to show one waveform traveling from one place to other place, I used 20 different slides just to show that. Today, currently, I have close to 20,000 slides that explains the whole VLSI flow in a much more graphical way on Udemy. And that is what attracted a lot of freshers who wanted to enter into at least know what semiconductor is. So that barrier, there is a saying that one picture speaks more than 1,000 words. So we put a lot of pictures, and that's how in 2014 to 2017 we got close to 25,000 users globally. So it just happened that we got a lot number of users globally, and the revenue was decent enough that I could have left my job and did this full time. So that's when 2017 we decided that let's now that the revenue is also coming up, let's take that risk and do it this full time, because there's a lot more things to do. And open source had just kicked off in 2017. Thanks to eFabulous, they were very supportive on this whole thing, especially the founders of the company, Mike Wishat and Mohammed Qasim and Tim Edwards. So they were the ones who guided us continuously. And the quality was really, it was high quality, because it had to be, the videos were being watched globally across, at that point of time, it was 75 countries. Today we have reached 153 countries, but at that point of time, 75 countries and 25,000 students, that was a big number. So the content had to be high quality, and it had to be flawless. There should be zero errors in the content. So there was a lot of research that went through making those content. 2018 2019, two good things happened globally. The first thing is pandemic. It is not a good thing, but for an for an online thing, it is something that hit, and nobody was allowed to go outside, and all the scenes that happened during pandemic. Second very good important thing happened was Google and Skywater and eFabulous, they joined hands and made the PDKs available, and that was a very big bottleneck, because the courses that we were doing was using the educational PDKs, which was very simple to use. Will not get industry grade issues or errors with those PDKs. It was a good starter kit, but to really get into the domain, to get into the semiconductors, you needed industry grade PDKs, and thankfully eFabulous, Google, Skywater, they made all these things happen, and they gave the world the 130 nanometers Skywater PDK. That was the two things, and at that point of time, delivering something online, only VSD had the experience at that, because in 8 years we were all into online. We knew how to deliver things online. We knew how to deploy labs, cloud, and all of it was all set. We studied those things in the last 7 to 8 years, and we knew how to deploy cloud labs and tools. Synopsys tools also we deployed at that point of time on cloud, and those things was the infra was all studied, well researched, and we had all those background. So that's where we had an exponential increase in the number of students, and we were quite comfortable, because the revenue also gradually increased during those days, and so we were comfortably we were quite comfortable compared to as the monthly revenue that comes into, and we were doing decent job. So we got that extra confidence that let's do more, let's get into this particular domain more. One more thing, interesting thing happened in 2018-19, was that IIT Madras released their first RISC-V Shakti chip. The what that thing did was, it enabled a lot of people to go into open source architecture. Now, for learning purposes, let's say if I want to learn something, and since RISC-V is the architecture is open source, I can get access to its Verilog code, and I can use that Verilog code to do the whole flow. So the advantage of that is, you can actually, the design is constant. You need not go for a simple design, like some fast Fourier transform, or I think Falcon, some basic designs. You do not go for the basic designs. You can go for a decent RISC-V, 5 stage basic RISC-V design, and you get access from the architecture to the Verilog. That actually connects the whole thing. You start from specifications, you start from your the architecture, and then you go detail into the Verilog code of the same architecture. Because typically what happens, students are not aware of that how architecture is an important part of any processor or any chip that you design. It's a specs that makes that is something that matters a lot. Unfortunately, the current generation also are not much aware of how important it is to learn about architectures, and that mission is still going on. We are making them aware of the architecture, but you through this podcast also, I can give the same message, that it is very important to learn, start from one architecture, because everything is microprocessors, everything is processors, the world is being run by some or the other processors. So we cannot ignore architecture. So you basically RISC-V helped us
Yes,
that,
yes.
and Shakti basically help us motivate the whole world, whole India, that how important an open source architecture is. That's how it started. So we adopted to our company, adopted to RISC-V. Then we made some good lab based courses on RISC-V software, RISC-V hardware. Thanks to Steve Hoover from Redwood EDA, we partnered with him, because online content, and any company, it works on collaboration. One person cannot do all of it, so it all works on collaboration. So we collaborated with the Redwood EDA, Steve Hoover. He made one of the very good content on how do you basically build processor in 5 minutes, in 5 days. So that was done with his help. Then there was some FPGA. The RISC-V remains same. Then we put that thing on FPGA. So Professor Nandita from IIIT Bangalore, she basically helped us in building content for that. So visions, once you have the vision statement quite clear, what exactly needs to be done, there are people who
Yes,
can help
yes.
you collaborate, and there are good people. There are people who are similarly excited and visionary about your vision, and they also want to be a part of the whole thing. And that's where the whole stack, from specifications to tape out, to tape in, to PCB design, to firmware, to software, all of it now is there as a one of the same stack. One thing which is missing in our flow is the packaging part, which is something which we are working on, that as well. The packaging part and the manufacturing part is something which you will see very soon coming as a part of the entire content. but that is something which is missing. And now in 2024, as of today, we have got close to about 1,20,000 students in 153 countries, and plus we have done more than 30-40 road shows, and more than 50 events. And as we speak now, yesterday night I just came from Andhra Pradesh, and just today I'm giving this a podcast. So it's all going on. Next year we are planning close to 20 road shows across Karnataka, and close to 4 to 5 road shows in the state, in multiple states of India. So that's where we are going, and there are many things that is going to come up in the next 2 to 3 years. So all of you guys can stay tuned to my website.
Yes. Another thing I would like to mention that you told about the challenges about the open source thing. One thing
Yeah.
I was about to mention that awareness about the Linux was not there. First of all,
Yes.
people
Yes.
used to use Windows 95,
Yes.
98, and all that.
Still now they use it, so that
Yeah,
awareness.
there. I think there was a magazine, PC Quest. They used to release CDs along with them about the
uh,
different Linux distros,
yes.
and that time bandwidth was of internet was not that much that you
Correct.
can
Correct.
download and install.
Right. That was a challenge.
And
Yes.
yeah, these points are very important points because I am using the computer since the generation of DOS. So
Right.
uh,
Right.
people who learn DOS, they find okay, Linux is okay to be used as a computer,
Yes.
but those who started with Windows only, they will have some trouble in working in
Yeah.
Linux. So the
Yes. Yes.
philosophy of the EDA tools, they work almost everything on Linux.
Yes.
Very
Everything
few
on
EDA
Linux.
tools are
Yes.
in Windows. So that perception has also get to change, because
Yes.
nowadays, even if you look to the farthest more corner of our country, the colleges do have Windows rather
Yes.
than Linux.
Yes.
Whereas
Yes.
if you have a almost hardware which is not able to run Windows, that will be able to run Linux.
Yeah.
Linux is like that flexible, and in that you
Exactly.
can install any EDA tools
Right.
nowadays. Nowadays,
Right.
EDA tools have come more forward with the journey of the GitHub and other sources,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Of
Yeah,
course.
earlier I think the downloadable site when there was dial-up, right? There was a CNET site. I think download.com was the most site that people who are software geeks, they used to
Right.
download from there.
Right. Right.
And I think there was another couple of other sites. They disappeared now. I think they are
Yes.
not no longer in the picture.
Right.
And another thing is that the bandwidth was a crunch, was a problem. So
It
people
was like much. Yeah.
people cannot access the online. After the
Yeah.
Geo 2 GB data per day came, the things changed in the
Things
whole
have changed.
country.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Another thing is that earlier the open source software was not that much organized. Like
Yes. Exactly.
Fedora had a package of the entire EDA tools called Fedora Electronics Labs,
Right.
FEL or something like that, abbreviated. And other EDA tools were scattered.
Yeah.
So the time you started, everything was scattered. I know,
Yes. Yes.
because
Yes.
only I can find that Fedora Electronics Lab, I think, which is close to the Red Hat distribution only, was there,
Yes.
and you have to install a Fedora or a CentOS, okay,
Yes.
which is a kind of free version of the Red Hat. So
X.
that you have to install, and that was much more complex than Ubuntu.
Right.
Nowadays,
Right. Right. Nowadays,
everything is available on Ubuntu.
everything. Yeah. You can
So
use WSL.
now, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, nowadays if you see, right, the if students have a lot of opportunity in hand
Yes.
right
Yes.
now. You have everything. Even if you have a old PC, say 4 5 years old PC, you can
Mm.
run Linux on it. Windows
Yes.
will have hiccups in running that, but Linux will run fine,
Yes.
because
At least
Linux is,
Ubuntu 18.04, at
yeah,
least
yeah,
those versions you can easily run on the old laptops.
yeah,
I
yeah,
still
yeah.
use some of my old laptops. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. It's fine. It will go around with basic operations and all. So
Yeah.
that is a culture change. That is, I think, we have that paradigm shift over last 10 years. That's why I mentioned about the decade. Since I
Exactly.
think 2011 or 12, I am connected with you in LinkedIn, and that time people hardly used to have the Linux. I think
Yes.
that time Dell used to sell Linux only laptops. Now they have
Mm.
stopped that. They are
Yeah.
selling DOS laptops, but that Linux laptops, I purchased one, and it was
Okay.
preloaded with Ubuntu. that time.
Oh, okay, okay, nice,
Yeah,
nice. So that is one differentiating between, at least at IITs. When I went to IITs, my
yeah.
masters, we were forced to use Linux because I think IITs knew that industry is EDA, but that culture has to go to 7,000 other colleges within India, and that is something we
Yes.
should be targeting for the next 5 to 7 years.
Yes, and yeah, I think today I'm talking frankly with you, Kunal, and you have a lot more work in coming next decade or maybe
Yes,
next,
yes,
next 20 years. So
of
it's a
course,
long journey.
it's a long journey. Yeah,
So
yeah.
long
And
journey, and
anybody who's listening, they can be a part of our journey. I mean, it's
yeah, yeah,
an open
definitely.
source. Yeah,
Because the open source will get developed
yeah,
concurrently, the different EDA tools will get developed, the
yeah.
concurrently the hardwares and AI is coming. So
Correct.
everything is going through a lot of paradigm shift. So
Yes, yes,
earlier the broadband was a challenge, because earlier when I was in college, that time I had only dial up, because at that time I
yes.
cannot use the internet. Even Yahoo page or Rediff page used to take at least 1 minute to
At
load.
least 1 minute. Yeah, yeah. I remember. Yes, yes, yes. That is true. That is
Rediff
true.
Mail was the first mail I had, and Yahoo Mail. Then
Right.
Google came in a very sharing manner right that
Correct.
time. So now Google is open, everyone can open. But earlier days when I had my Google account, that was request based. So I know
Yes.
someone, that person has a Google account, then he or she can share. So this
Right.
was a challenge that time. So Google
Right.
was
Right.
also starting that time. Means
Yeah.
it was not that, I think around 2005 6 time Google also started. So
Yes.
every journey parallelly going on, and nowadays there is a scenario, right? When you and me started working in VLSI, that time there was a channel, there was no content at all. First of
Yeah.
all, I think there were couple of things from VLSI experts. I
Yeah. Yeah.
think
Puneet Mittal. I
Punit's
learned from him.
yeah,
Yeah. I learned
yeah,
from him.
yeah. Honestly, I have to acknowledge, right, his
Yeah.
content
Yeah.
and NPTEL. So
And
rest
Patel.
of the
Yes.
things were not there.
Yeah, yeah. Currently, I think
And
there are some good content coming up, but the graphic is still missing. What I see, there's a lot
yeah,
of text,
yeah,
and our company, I mean, me and my founder Anagha, it was so yeah. So, for example, Anagha was my first customer because she was from electrical engineering. So, electrical engineering, she was still an engineer, but the idea that my co-founder, my founder had, that it should be just even a watchman should be able to understand by just looking at the picture what is happening. It has to go to that
yes,
level of
yes,
graphics. So that was actually so since my founder Anaga, she was the first customer. She took a look into the entire. She's the one who used to review the whole content, and if the content was convincing to her, which means at least it is convincing to 10% of the non VLSI or non-electronics engineers. That's how we
yeah.
started. So for any entrepreneur to get started, I think family and friends, my friends, yeah, of course, my friends who are in computer science department, in other department, now they are working for Apple or some other companies. But they were my first customers. Family and friends are your first customers. If they are convinced, I think then only you should start get into the entrepreneurship journey. Because if you are not able to sell your family, you cannot sell to the
Yeah,
customer.
another thing in this context, I would like to mention that people do not had idea of the hardware engineering, the VLSI, right? People know about the TCS, CTS on the all these IT jobs, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So when I got my first job, so my home people or my relatives, they understand that I had in IT. So
yeah,
they bugged me when I was outside Kolkata. They said, "Why don't you come to Kolkata and Kolkata work there?" I said, "There is no VLSI company in Kolkata except one
yeah.
Sankalp was that time."
Uncle was there, right, right.
And I started working in Intera. Intera first, I started working in Kolkata, and then that branch was closed and divided in two parts. One went to Bangalore and one went to
Okay,
Noida.
okay, okay.
So yeah, so it is even today. I go to College Street. I think few months back, I went to College Street. There are few shops. I'll not take the name. I asked about the VLSI book specially,
Yeah,
right? Okay, what is a VLSI book? Say they
uh,
said even that is the problem there, right? So
right,
the
right.
bookstores don't have the books,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
basic where a student goes.
Yes,
I
yes.
said these are big shots in College Street. So you're from
Right.
Bengal, right? You know about the College Street.
Yeah, yeah.
If I ask for a AI book, I get it.
Okay, but not for the VLSA.
Not for the VLSI. This is a very
This is,
tough
yeah,
challenge. If
yeah,
some
yeah.
student wants to start reading a book, that book has to be available in the nearest bookstore. Today in India, that
Yes,
is a very big problem.
That is the problem. I feel after the Indian semiconductor mission that was launched by Sri Modi, a little bit there is an improvement. I would say last time, if it
Yeah,
was 10% before, now it is at least 50%, but there is still 50% gap that needs to be covered, and
yeah, yeah.
that's exactly the is the Indian semiconductor mission will be. So
Yes, yes,
there will be some awareness program. So for example, in Kolkata, I'm actually born and brought up in
yeah,
Mumbai, and my parents are
yeah,
from Kolkata. In Kolkata, there's a good college, Heritage Institute of Technology, which is in
yeah,
Rajarghat. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's where I did one of the road shows. The students were very excited. I saw them getting very motivated for semiconductors, and some of them have also joined some of my internship programs. So the awareness has to, if there is one nodal college over there from where we can start the awareness, I think we have to just get in touch with them and start spreading the word over there, and that's how it is kind of a road show that you have to do in the Kolkata set. For example, we are doing one vision over here for 2025. We are doing 1,000 risk 5 VLSI engineers in Pan Karnataka. If that experiment goes through successfully, we are going to
yeah,
replicate it in multiple states. So we would
yeah,
just need
yeah.
volunteers for those states, and of course there is a stipend involved, there is money involved, there is good amount of business for everybody who is going to contribute. We would need those volunteers, and who can contribute,
Yeah.
any one of your subscribers who is listening to this one, if they want their home state to grow in the areas of semiconductors and VLSI, let's talk. There is a lot of ideas and plans, and working plans. I mean, we have got plans which is deployable plans. We'll work on it, and we can make this thing happen in the next 4 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, another thing is that books should be available.
Yeah,
So of VLSI related stuff like Risk Five and all you are talking about. Even I
yeah,
asked in that shop about Risk Five books, so
mm.
they don't know what is Risk Five.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's quite risky.
It is quite risky. It will take time because
Yeah,
885 has been there for a long time, so they
yeah,
might
long time. Gaokar.
not. Yeah, Gaukar. So 40, that has been there for 40 years.
Yeah,
So it will take another 5 10 years to reach to a level where you will hear about risk. But yeah,
yeah.
things are changing. It is changing. It is taking a little bit of time, but it is going to change very soon.
Yeah, things are, that's why I started this podcast to spread the awareness
Yeah.
and bring on live people who are hands on working, and they have their hurdles, they have
Yes.
their achievements. There should be a platform where people can share and express
Right.
their views. At least what we are discussing on this Saturday morning, we are not discussing in technical in depth, but
Yeah.
what is happening around these technical things to things
Yes.
get implemented
Right. Right.
actually to a student. The
Right. Right.
awareness is the first thing.
Yes.
First thing is the awareness. You at least have some awareness. That is okay if you go to the computer shop and I let me talk about the BPB. I think that is a very good publication. If you go right today, you will get a lots of computer related books from BPB house, right?
Uh-huh.
But in contrast to that, you will not have the VLSI related books. They are from mostly from outside publishers, maybe McGraw Hill or maybe Pearson.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
books are there. uh, so that is a challenge. I think today
Right.
we are going through a lot of challenge. Not only
Yes.
what you are facing right now, hurdles in the field. Apart from that, if you go to bookstores and all, and I think in many states, there is not like organized bookstores like College Street.
Correct. Correct.
So
Correct.
that is also a challenge.
That is a
So
challenge. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that is a
But,
challenge because students have a tendency to learn from books.
yeah, yeah, but also we have to see that how many, what is the percentage of people who have, because since we are from 2010, 2011, we love reading books, a lot of books,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
right now still I have my, Risk by edition book by Professor David Patterson. I have my Ball State book for electronic devices.
yes,
So Wayne Tomasi is one of the book by, so I still read those book, but today, so now the way things work is it's mostly about business. How much business does the books make versus how much business does the online
yeah,
content, or
yeah, yeah,
online version of the books make. So that is
yeah,
actually going to be that is what is defining the whole business. So that might be the reason, because you might not see many physical books, but there might be
yeah,
an online
yeah,
version of the books online. So it's all how the customers want, and how the how the business should be driven based on the current customers' needs. So I think that is what is defining the book. For example, AI. Right now, if you have AI in place, many of my doubts, I still gets I'm still learning a lot of things, though it has been 14 years I have spent in this field. There are many things that I think I still don't know. I want to learn, and that's something I use. My AI tools to help me for that. There are two or three. ChatGPT is one of them, and there are other tools also that gives you a lot of technical information. So I still use a lot of AI to get my data, my information for, let's say, there is one project that we're working on 7 nanometers technology node. So for that, a lot of information is not there in AI also. For that, we have to go definitely for the books because AI is still not
Yeah,
aware of 7 nanometer. On the contrary, if you have got those old technologies, which are still available on books, we still go for books. But for the newer technology, which is still not available on AI, that is something where books will be either online or offline. They will be more relevant, which is not even available on AI.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So and AI, another perspective is that is a application perspective or application building perspective. So
Mhm.
AI has two perspective.
Yeah,
If there is a CS student, that student will be building AI and ML applications, right?
right,
And
right.
if you are a non CS guy, so that
Uh,
will be from usage perspective. So
yes,
there are
yes.
two perspectives.
Yeah, so now in fact in VSD also there are a lot of it will be all launched in 2025. There are multiple we have a board, we have our own boards which is now will support some of the ML applications. So you will very soon hear
Yeah,
about one of the ML hackathons that we are going to launch. So
yeah, yeah,
the point over here is pre chat GPT and post chat GPT, a lot of things have changed. And the people who graduated in the era of 2022 to 2024, they have a lot more to catch up because the current generation, if I see students from 6th grade to 12th grade, the kind of things that they are doing, that's they are building drones, they are building the moil, they're basically doing this, soil moisturizer sensor, something they have been building for
yeah, yeah.
at this age. So 2022 to 2024 pass outs who are if they are listening to right now, all of you have a lot to catch up because your AI has changed the game, and it has brought everyone to one level where even an engineer has got access to the AI and the school student has also got access to the AI. So both are almost balancing the same thing. And the way I've seen the way the school students learn, they search for one topic and they actually are deep diving into the topic with the help of AI. They don't go for high end courses like VLSI courses specifically, but they reach to VLSI and semiconductors through asking right kind of questions to the AI. That's a very good thing. Actually, the schools are helping them to do that. Their schools are motivating them to ask the right kind of questions. And that's where I feel the 2022 to 2024 batch engineering graduates, they have a lot more work to do. They have to actually move to some of the advanced technical concepts like mixed signals, analog, and all of it, or mixed signal associated design, those kind of topics, because relying completely on physical design jobs without the knowledge of how SOC and AI or analog actually operates, they might be just wasting their time. So they have to lot more to catch up compared to the upcoming
They
graduates.
have to stretch a lot. They have to
They have to
stretch a
stretch a
lot.
lot. Yeah, yeah. They have to lot to work. Yes, it will
Yeah.
be difficult to get jobs from the job market has completely shifted now. The people who were aware only of a digital flow for one small design, they are right now they have perished in the market, and they are looking for industries looking for people who can figure out things based on the kind of information that is available, and that is what industry is also looking forward for. So the
Yeah.
2022
Yeah.
and 24, you guys have a lot to catch up.
So my next question
Hmm.
to you is that when you started as a fresher, right?
Hmm.
What you felt there is a challenge around you, because this channel is mostly for the freshers
Hmm.
who are graduated or go doing the graduations. Obviously there are more aged persons are also there, senior or maybe 2 3 years of experience, they also view this channel. Those
Right.
are viewers definitely, but freshers who has zero idea, at least they
Uh-huh.
are coming to see this podcast. So what challenges you faced and how you've overcome those challenges, because this will motivate the
Yeah.
freshers
Yeah.
because they will not feel stuck behind a wall. So
Right, right.
that's why
So as a BTech, of course, BTech, I never got a job into VLSI and all, because when I did my BTech, VLSI curriculum was not in par with the industry, which I realized when I was giving interviews during those days. It was a struggle at that point of time also, and it was a very conscious decision to go for an MTech program. Mine was a 3-year MTech program, not even 2 year. It was a 3-year in tech program. I invested additional 1 year just to get into the core of semiconductors. So after BTech, at least you have to spend 9 months to 12 months either spend some time in learning about these topics. There are a lot of online resources. In fact, if you go to our website also, there are a lot of free resources. So at least 1 year you have to spend and start building your fundamentals from some of the online resources, and try to structure it the structure should make sense. So whatever you document on your GitHub, try to see if it makes sense to you and if it makes sense to readers, or they can send me. I can also give them some idea whether what they are doing is there in the right part or not. So that is one thing. So there is always a question that after BTech, should we go for MTech, or should we directly go for a institute and go for a job? So the 9 months to 12 months of preparation, that is something which is non-negotiable. That 9 months to 12 months they could either spend in MTech, they could either spend in some institute or some programs or somewhere or anywhere else. That 12 months of time has to be spent in you have to go deep inside this particular field, and that takes, because VLSI is a lot about physics. I mean, many freshers might not be aware of that, but VLSI is mostly back end, especially there is a lot of physics involved. So physics will take you about 3 to 4 weeks just to understand the basics behind the MOSFET physics. And I'm not talking just about the source, drain, and gate. Not that. There is something which goes beyond it, like energy band, Fermi level, and all. That will basically make your fundamentals very strong. So that part
yes,
is like that part itself takes you about 3 to 4 weeks. Then there are some advanced concepts. So we have to spend at least 9 to 12 months non-negotiably. We cannot just download a GitHub repo, run it, and you expect a job waiting for you. That is something which we cannot even expect industry will respond to. So at least 6 to 9 months on the preparation part, in either in institute or self-learning or MTech or PhD. That should be fun. But after 12 months, after 9 to 12 months, I've seen the success rate is about 90 to 95%, because just recently, like 3 4 days back, we had one of our students who was MTech. Of course, after MTech also she had to spend close to 7 to 8 months on preparation, and she got a job which was about 32 lakhs per annum. That kind of range of a job she got. We had a BTech student like few weeks back, who was one of our program students. He again spent about 6 to 9 months in the whole program. Plus, he did a lot of self study. It's not that only VSD can help. There are a lot of programs outside. They all collectively will help you to shape up your career. And he got about a package of 20 to 22 lakhs per annum. Of course, these are all product companies. Service companies, I don't have any examples of service companies how much they pay, but I'm very sure for if a company sees that you're really delivering to your promises, you're delivering what they need, I think there is a lot money in this particular domain. But you have to spend 9 to 12 months, because 9 to 12 months is just the beginning. We have what they do in 9 to 12 months, we have been doing it for 14 years. They have to do it for huge number of years. So that
yes.
takes
No
a lot
one
of
can
patience.
spoon feed you
Mm.
all of the VLSI related
They
stuffs.
cannot.
That
Yeah, yeah,
is,
yeah.
I
So
would like
that's
to
why.
add
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah. So for that kind of work, if you are able to continue for your lifetime, I think the career is very, and you should love the field. First of all, you should love what you're learning about, and to love the field, you should be talking to the right kind of people. You should be talking to
Yeah,
more optimistic people rather than people who are
yeah,
supporting for
yeah,
software and all. What I've heard from my students, that even the seniors are basically supporting. Seniors are basically referring them to go for software jobs and not for real estate jobs. I mean, if you are really interested in VLSI, just start googling or talk to people who have spent close to 14, 15 years in the industry, and you will get to know why they love this particular field, and why this field makes a lot of money. There is so much money involved in this particular field, and why they make money. All of these questions will be basically answered, but it takes time. Unlike software initially the salary is very high, but eventually it dries down. And in hardware, what I've seen, initially it is very low, but eventually it basically exponentially increase. That is
yes,
has been my
yes.
always personal experience.
So there is a concept called continuous learning that
Continuous
anyone
learning.
in
Yeah,
this field has to go through. Even if you are a 5 years experience, you have to
yeah.
continuously learn.
Continuous learning. Yes,
I
yes.
think learn harder than what was you are doing in the first year.
Yeah, yeah. That is in every field. That is true for every field. If you
Yeah,
learn, if
yeah,
you love one field, cricket, for example,
yeah,
cricket,
yeah,
or my daughter is in gymnastics. Every day she's learning new techniques. She has been spending
yeah,
3 to 4 years now in the gymnastics, so she also
mm,
learns every day new things. And
yeah.
you a slip of even a 1 week or 10 days, you have to restart again. That's how sports is,
Yes,
and
yes,
that's how our field is also. You cannot
yes,
just
yes, yes,
sit down for 10 4 days also. So there's a lot of things to learn from sports actually,
yeah,
because I myself was also a sportsman. So you basically fall down, you again come back, fall down, come back. I've seen most of the gymnast in my daughters, including my daughter, the way they get trained. If you prepare our mind in that set, that that you don't have to give up, you have to continue with what you love. I think that is the key to any field, to success in any field.
yes, yes, yes. One so On next question I'll move.
Hmm.
So I think we have already discussed the things that we have seen the change in over the last decade. So I'll not repeat that question. So
Yeah,
my next question will be: you interact with a lot of freshers, fresh
yeah,
mind, fresh energy, youngsters. They have a lot of energies.
yeah.
Among them, what you feel missing completely or partially, and what should they improve upon?
So first is they have to focus on one thing, not multiple things. So what most of the at least I will say, I'll divide into multiple brackets. 30 to 40% people I see, they are a little bit confused, and it's not their fault. They have been getting so many information from Google, from seniors, from all of them. They've been getting many informations from so many things, so they are a little bit confused about which is the exact field that they need to go for, because they're excited about every field, and VLSI is exciting. All the fields are continuously exciting, and it takes about 3 to 4 months just to figure out which field you want to stick to. So and the 3 4 months of time which you have to spend, that itself take a lot of patience, compared to the other fields. This field, at least 3 4 months just to figure out which one you like. So let's say, for example, there was one student who did she did semiconductor, she did back end, she did front end, she did risk, she did all of it. And finally she decided what field she likes to do. She was interested in one of the protocols, so I like that thing. She experimented with everything, but then now she's stuck to one particular field, and she wants to grow in that area. That is one 30% of the candidates have been seeing very constantly. Second, I think the amount of patience level that is suddenly reduced in the in the
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
the freshers. That is something which is another very important thing which I see missing in current gen. But I think it's again not their fault. It is the way they have been brought up, because with so many, they got access to so many social media channels so suddenly, that might have brought down the patience level to a little bit low. But that is something which almost everybody, it is not only the juniors, even some of the seniors also, they have got access to this social media so fast that everybody is losing patience now. So that is second most important thing, that they have to just stay in the field for some time to see the success at the end of the tunnel. So these are the two
Yes.
things: focus and patience. Just stay there. It will take time, but
Yeah.
it will happen.
So there is no instant delivery. So
There
like
is
that,
your
yeah,
luck.
like the Swiggy, Zomato, and like all those stuffs, they are giving
Yeah,
10 minutes. Yeah,
yeah.
nothing in life comes in that first. That is
Comes.
even a lot of manpower behind those apps and physical
Yes,
fields
yes,
so that you
yeah,
get
yeah,
right. So you have to
yes,
consider that manpower
yeah,
and brain powers also. Okay,
yeah, yeah,
so
yes, yes.
the this is what I will address. That now the generation is called Gen Z, right?
Then
So
see, yeah,
Gen Z, I think I was watching similar kind of issues that was getting addressed in WION. WION is a
okay,
channel. So
okay.
WION, I think
Palki Sharma, yeah, Palki Sharma,
Palki Sharma, yes,
Palki
Palki
Sharma,
Sharma was addressing this kind of stuffs.
yeah. Okay,
So that's why, yeah. So That's why I asked you this question, that in field, when you work with the youngsters, they quickly, they have a lot of energy, right? So you
Yeah.
said their energy diminishes quickly, so
Hmm.
they have a virtual expectation that if I start from this point to this point, it will
Yeah.
finish. But
Yes.
to have that practical, so that's why I started this podcast, right? Clear out things in the mind.
Yeah, yeah. But the
uh,
students who
in
have
the
stayed with us, I think they are doing good. The students who
Yeah,
stayed with us
yeah,
for 5 6 months, most of them are in NVIDIA and XP. They're still working with us, voluntarily,
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
they have been very successful in their entire career, and now that they are giving it back to the students, to the society. So I think who stays, they are going. They have a long way to go.
yeah, yeah. So that is what the concept, they have to change your change in the mind, that you already
Yeah,
said, and I
yeah.
added couple of words to it. So
Hmm. Right.
yeah, it's good discussion. And another thing, when you address a newcomer, right,
Hmm.
in your institute, maybe physically or maybe virtually through internet, right,
Hmm.
what the areas of their textbook they should be stressing before coming to you,
Yeah.
that
So
you think?
generally, our filtering process. So we have our own filtering process. We give them our own one internal document, and we I just ask them to. We do a technical screening for almost all the participants who come to us. The first thing that they have to do is they have to install 5 to 6 tools. If they are patient enough to install those 5 to 6 tools, I think they are in. That's because
Yeah,
that itself takes about 4 to 5 days. Then the books start. Then there is a lot of books like Yon Rabe. There is book from David Patterson for RISC-V. Yon Rabe is for digital VLSI. And those will come, but they need not read the entire book. They would have to find the solutions from that book. So our problem statements are in such a way that it's an open book, or entire
yeah, open book.
open book test, open internet, open ChatGPT test. They just have to get a solution from any book wherever they want to. For example, we run this hackathons. I'm sure you must be aware of hackathons. So for hackathon, they have the Google open, they have books open, they have many things that is basically available to them. All they have to do is come up with a design and solve a real challenging problem statement. That's all they have to do. And still we see, even if it's an open book, out of 1600 participants, 1600 participants who basically enroll for the hackathon, we are seeing close to at least 10%, 160 to 170 students completing the hackathon. And there are top 30 40 who have got a decent documentation for their particular design. So just books and the online material, they are there to help you, they are there to help you out. But the way industry operates is, this is the problem statement, and how do you address that problem statements using any book in the whole world, or any chat gpt or any link. They are okay with it as long as you're solving that particular problem. So that's how basically typically we have been doing. So they get a lab experience, they get an experience about research, how to do research, they know how to do hands-on. But as long as they're solving that particular problem, I think they are in, and that they are good.
Yeah. Another next question will be that so there are academic syllabus of colleges and different institute in our country.
Yes.
Do you feel that something should be uh, more robust to make the foundation good for the freshers?
Okay, so now in colleges, actually I am also an adjunct faculty at Triple IIT Bangalore, so I also teach their semiconductors. What I felt in colleges was that it is not very easy to change the curriculum overnight. Now in our field, what is happening? Technology is changing very fast. Like 2 years back, we were in like I'm sorry, in 2018, I was in 180 nanometers, for example, because Shakti microprocessor at that point of time was released with two technology nodes. One is 180 and one is 28, and both were on MOSFETs. 7 years now, right now, we are sitting on AI, which is running on FinFETs. It's all running on 7 nanometers and 2 nanometer technology nodes. So the way industry is moving, shifting or modifying the curriculum at such a fast pace, it might be a little bit difficult for the college framework, because there is a lot of things that it has to go through for one curriculum change. So what IIT Bangalore did was, it added the VLS as an elective course, and in that elective, an industry person comes and he is free to cover all the latest technology nodes. For example, recently, the one which we did for IIIT Bangalore, right, that was addressed on Open Road engine, which is again an open source tool, but the new features of Open Road. So Open Road has brought in some new features for measuring power, for analyzing. It uses its AI engine to analyze what kind of PPA it will come into. So these cannot be brought into the mainstream curriculum very quickly, because there is a process, there is a process, and they're dealing with a system, and they're dealing with many people. There will be lakhs of students across the country. So deploying new curriculum will be a bit difficult for the colleges. Rather, if they have this as an elective, and they allow the instructor who is doing the elective to to bring in new changes and new modifications, that elective will play a lot of role. The fundamentals and the engineering curriculum right now, they would anyways need it. For example, electronics that we have, we still use for building PCB boards. For example, if you see if you see all these PCB boards that you design, you still need all the electronic components. This part of the
Yes, yes,
PCB, you still need resistors, capacitors to learn about them. So that is still needed. But one elective which focuses on latest cutting tech, I think that is what is making and this I think will is also follow. There is a Professor Saroj Raut in Bhubaneswar, Silicon Institute of Technology, Bhubaneswar. Their college also does the same thing. They have this regular curriculum, but one set of an elective is something which they set aside, which Professor Saroj takes, and he teaches. He covers basically all the latest technology. So that balance it can be something which can be implemented in at least most of the colleges. But since me and you, both are from corporate, and we don't know exactly what is happening, what
yes.
challenges are the professors facing while implementing a new curriculum. We are not aware of it, but we cannot comment more on how it could be done, because sitting behind the sitting outside the college and talking about college might be very easy, but actually implementing it might be a little bit challenging. So yeah, this is what we could do, but how challenging it is to deploy it is something which the some of the professors, if you bring them on the table, they might be help us to explain that how difficult it is to bring an elective for VLSI in their curriculum. But
Yes.
IIIT Bangalore does that. IIIT Bangalore and PS and SIT, they all do it. That's what I know.
So that was a great suggestion from your side, and I was expecting like so if there has to be some change, there has to be a first step. That first step is talking and expressing our views.
Yeah,
How the change will happen, how many years it will take, we do not know.
we not know.
Okay.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah, because it will involve lot of people, lot of professors, and lot of government bodies to do that. But
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least as an individual, we are talking this Saturday morning, at least we
Yeah,
can talk these
we
things,
can talk. Yeah.
express these things. We are not there to change, but at least we can talk this much change, because
Yes.
this discussion might give the seed idea of some
Yeah, yeah.
important person in government,
Yes,
may take
yes.
that seed idea, expand it, right?
Of course, of course.
So
Yes.
that is why the discussion must be there. Because
Yeah.
honestly, Kunal, I don't see any proper news channel is having this kind of discussion, and that was my motivation behind starting this podcast.
Right. Nice, nice. This is good.
all
Yeah, this
all
is
all all channels, news channels, they are doing the political stuff and movie things and all that. Okay.
correct.
So real heroes are not brought, and their views are not expressed. So
Okay. Right, right.
honestly speaking, you are a real hero working on
Oh,
the field. You are
thank you so
making
much.
human manpower for this country.
Wow. Thank you
Yeah,
for that words.
yeah,
Really
really,
appreciate.
yeah, that is the thing. That is, now any news channel will not do that. So that is
Yeah.
my motivation behind starting this podcast, bringing up real people, flesh in blood. So they are having the groundwork every day. So
Right.
who is going to discuss with them? Because news channel are looking for TRP. They will go
Correct.
for what is happened there, different parts of the country, and they can sensitize that, and they will uh, highlight that. And so that's a completely different business. But this
Right. Right.
podcast is completely different. Here we discuss, right, that might go to some person, I don't know who. The seed idea will be given to that person, and that seed
Yeah.
idea will help the things to grow in future. So we are
Yeah.
planting the seed. So that
Perfect.
is my
Perfect.
view.
Sounds good. Yeah. Yeah, this is good mission. This is
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah, another thing is next anything, say it's again we are planting seeds.
mm,
I'm saying. So if you think, if you have any message towards the government of India, right, anything that should be there, uh, that will help this sector to grow, you can express. We don't have to think how it will happen, who
mm.
will see that, and how that will. Just share your
Okay,
views.
so today I feel government is very much supportive. At least when I was young, when I was in my college, I never dealt with government people at that point of time. But today I feel for example, Mighty and IESA, VSI, I get a lot of support, lot of their blessings, because I never get stuck in any of the missions that I am doing. So at least at that point of from that way, I'm seeing nobody obstructing me in what I'm doing. So that is one of the biggest that is one of the biggest signal that even government wants it, and they are actually helping the people who are going in forward in this particular mission. That is one good thing I see. Second thing, for the I don't know how to what do we say to the government. I can just thank them for their continuous support. And it has they have been till now. I have not faced any issues because of government. Because for example, IIT Madras is again a government body, and they have been so helpful in doing risk-fi or doing so many activities across India. IESA, for example, last year we did. They are also kind of government come private body. They work on membership fees. Last year we did 4 to 5 road shows with them, and there was zero. In fact, whatever the obstructions were there, they were trying to remove it and solve it so that things go fast. And at least in our case, at least in the case of VSD, we have been seeing that a lot of and the good thing is now we have people from the field, from the industry, supporting the government. For example, Rajesh Chandrasekhar ji, he was from Intel. He understands. He was an Intel ex Intel, so he understands a lot of things. So when he saw our board and all, he was able to quickly get it, and whatever things was needed to do the road shows, he was happily able to support it. So these things I'm not seeing, so which means we are in good hands right now. Future, I don't know what will happen, but I hope they continue supporting our activities, and that's the message that I wanted to give to the government of India, that they are actually doing a good job.
Great. Anything that like say government, when I say that, means there are a lot of things. You also said that you go, you give lectures in colleges, right?
Mm,
So anything that you see that these things could be. So first of all, here I am not telling you to offend somebody,
mm,
but whatever I said, that we are planting seeds for the future. What
right,
you we are, what you are getting, what you are seeing around you, that seed has been planted by the government sometime ago, and the tree
yeah,
has come with the fruits.
yes,
Now for future, this tree will grow old, right?
yeah,
For the future, we have to plant seeds today so that those seeds will give fruits in upcoming maybe 10 years later.
correct, correct.
So so my perspective is that, so in case you have some idea that can, in future, it may give some good fruits to the country students in this field, if you think there is something, we can have
So
this over
uh,
discussion.
technically there are few places where, for example, a lot of center of excellences, COEs. So in COEs, the concept of COE is that the COE should promote research, and they should also bring business to the college. That's the concept of a COE. So in that COE, there are some, if we are able to build some fundamental labs, for example, building a MOSFET capacitor lab, MOS capacitor lab, and characterize it. That's something even college students can do it, because at IIT Bombay we used to do it. We used to build our own. We had this laminar bench. We used to have a wafer, and we used to have the airflow, and bring some two probes and characterize it. So that's the fundamental, first step to doing any fabrication. You have a simple deposition system. So access to this kind of systems, access to this kind of deposition systems to build a basic MOS capacitor, because your MOS cap, is the fundamental behind your MOS, your entire transistor CMOS technology. Once you are able to
Yes,
do
yes,
that, you will be able to do further fabrication also. So if you want to do a lot of hands-on on the fabrication side, if you want to build talent across the fabrication side, I think that this one setup, and I have only one data point, that is from IIT Bombay. I don't have enough data points to support my statement where we want government to help us in building this one. But yeah, I will be having that in a year or so, because we are planning that thing. Once that setup is ready, I think we will encourage government to build a lot of this kind of COs, replicate that COs in multiple places, so that we get the manufacturing, or at least we'll get started with the manufacturing skill development programs very soon. So, but yeah, unless I have a data point about that, I can't say much. So once I have a good amount of sufficient, it's a 10. If I were to launch this in 10 places, build this small fab lab, not it's fab lab, it's a basically small MOS capacitor lab. If we are able to do that, I think we are in a good shape, and that is what we will request even government to replicate in all over the universities. And I'm very sure a good idea, if it gets into the hands of the right people, they definitely support that.
yes, yes, yes. Lot of professors are there. They
Yeah,
spend their day and night in the
yeah, yeah.
college, right? Say,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
these people are there, so at least they need a seed idea what to do. Like
Yeah,
that, you
yeah.
have given one seed idea. Parallelly, I'd like to share, in IIT Kharagpur, I spent couple of years in as a project assistant, right? So
Mhm.
there I have seen in the different labs, like in our lab, there was MOSFET devices.
Yeah.
We used to use Agilent device
Yes,
measuring
yes,
instruments
yes.
and probing under microscope, as well as
Correct.
there at the ground floor there was a MEMS lab.
MEMS lab,
I'm
right, right,
talking
right.
about the
Yeah.
EC building, where I think
Yes.
Professor Indranil Sengupta is also there, who
Ah,
is
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes. Of course, of
yeah,
course.
and Sapna Madam was there also. I
Right,
was
right.
with Professor CK Maiti, so
Okay,
I
okay.
have a paper with him. So
Yeah, that exactly, that MOS lab you just said, that has to be
yeah,
scalable. But there are some challenges which I'll have some data point within a year. Once we have that, I think
yes.
that should be deployable across colleges.
Yes, yes. At least we have some place where we have some measuring instrument and people can touch and feel the things.
Yes, yeah,
Like
yeah,
this at least maybe I would like to add some points to your idea, because this was seed idea you gave. I'm
yeah.
adding some wrappers around it. So
Right.
if there is a central facility where it is there, where colleges can come maybe once week, 1 week in a month, right? Students can come and do these things, right? Because
Yeah.
it involves a lot of cost.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, if something
Actually,
is like
actually,
that.
this kind of setup can be built in their own colleges, because most of the cost is on the procuring the silicon wafers. If procuring silicon wafers becomes easy, the entire laminar bench with that probe station, it should not go beyond the budget of a college. It's not very expensive. We can still
Okay.
build it in a very seamless, good amount of decent amount of budget. And of course, there are some spare parts, second-hand parts are also available that we can procure from various parts of the country, and we can cut down, we can bring it within the budget. So that is a vision statement. At least if I have a year's time, I can get the exact numbers, how much does it take to build a very small, because you have to, you have that air thing also needs to be circulated continuously, so that is the most expensive part. But how much was the money
Yes, yes.
is something which I'll have to get back within a year or so. But it
Yeah,
is it is
fine.
doable.
It's a great idea seed that we have planted. Probably this seed will go to respective people mind,
Yeah,
and I hope and pray to God that this podcast reach to those minds where these minds can have these seed ideas and expand on them. So
yeah,
that
yeah,
will
of
be
course.
good for the students.
Sure, sure, sure. We'll make
And
that.
next question towards you about the squadron board. So I
Ah,
have seen in my LinkedIn, but
yeah,
viewers do not know about the squadron board. The name is very good. I appreciate the name. And what is it, and how students can avail it online or offline, so that you can give a overview of it and how
yeah.
they can utilize and learn from it. So yeah.
Yeah, so Squadron Board also has a history. So it's also has got a little bit of story to it, and very very exciting story. So the chip which is there inside the Squadron Boards, for example, I'm talking about the bigger one. So if you look into this one, this particular chip, if you see over here, it has got one of the IPs that was designed by student as a part of the curriculum. So the idea behind having this board is that if you are going to learn chip design, you should have a chip to learn. So these are the chips which are basically built using all the open source area tools. In fact, the board itself was built using all open source area tools. And with this particular board, and we offer a 3 months of curriculum, so you can know ins and out of the chip, of the board, everything. So it's a basically full-fledged 3 months of VLSI curriculum online. So you just get this board online, and you'll get the access to the entire curriculum. So that is the idea behind having this particular VSD Squadron board. Now the problem is, it is still a RISC-V board. It has got a very tiny RISC-V in this particular chip. So you can learn RISC-V, you can learn analog, you can learn Verilog coding, you can learn PCB designing, you can learn firmware, CTS, RTL design, synthesis, physical design, all of it with this particular board that you can learn. But it's very expensive, because this comes with a curriculum. This board basically comes with a entire lifetime access curriculum, and this board will cost you 15,000 rupees plus GST with the curriculum. And that curriculum we have lifetime access. But this is only good for people who are setting up a VLSI center in their colleges. So since this was expensive, and you can and students in India wanted something to play with the RISC-V boards, they wanted to play a lot of RISC-V thing. So we came up with the second board. This is the second, it is called as a VSD Squadron mini boards. So in this board, this is basically 1,000 rupees. If you want to learn only RISC-V, then this is the one, this is the board for it. So one is Vega board, which is by CDEC, and one is this board. So you have these only two boards. Now getting other boards versus this board, the difference is that with this we offer free internship. Now why is internship? Because RISC-V is pretty new. RISC-V is pretty new. Everybody needs to know about RISC-V. So along with this, we basically offer a free RISC-V and VLSI internship, so that participants know the connection between semiconductors and RISC-V. Because right now, RISC-V is a different topic. I mean, at least the feeling is that RISC-V is different, electronics is different, VLSI is different, and everything is
Yes, yes,
different.
yes.
So this particular
Yes,
board,
that's the amazing thing that you have said. And I tell people that people think that separate name means it's
separate, yeah,
separately, completely separate. So
yeah,
when we have a laptop, if we tear it down and go inside, right, there is chip, there is firmware,
everything,
there is
yeah,
operating system, everything
exactly,
works hand in hand.
everything, yeah,
Nothing
exactly.
is
Nothing
separate.
is so that is basically brought out by the internship
Yeah.
that we offer with this board. So they do little bit of VLSI in the beginning, they do little bit of RISC-V also in the beginning, and then they deploy a RISC-V application on this board. So that's how this particular board helps. Now this is good for people who are basically wants to enter into VLSI and RISC-V and understand both of them and how they work coherently. Now for high
Yes,
schools,
just
basically,
I'd like to pitch
uh,
in it at this point, because if
uh,
you learn the theories, it's quite boring. After an hour of reading a book, you will feel sleepy. Even I feel
yeah,
sleepy.
yeah,
If
yeah,
you have something in your hand that you can
yes,
play with,
play with,
think at
exactly.
think as it is your learning toy. So
Learning
that
toy, yeah.
will push more energy into your veins.
Yes, yes,
So
exactly, exactly. So, so we have built a lot of good products with this one. We have built like a flight controller was built, one energy saver was built. There was one AI application. She has actually did a low quantized AI application where you don't take the data so fast. You take it at multiple samples, at a low samples, and then you process those data. So those things can be done with this. This is a 24 megahertz board, very low frequency board, but you can still learn a lot of about RISC-V and about VLSI with this particular board. That's how this was a kind of a toy. The third thing happened was that for high schools. So there is a program that we run called as Chip Design for High School program. So in that program, they end with a Verilog code. And again, when we talk about chip design for high school students also are so smart. They are asking where is the hardware. They ask us where is the hardware, kind of this kind of questions. Because if we are learning chip design, if we are saying that you are learning hardware, then we have to show them the hardware. So for them, this is an FPGA board. This is an FPGA board which is a 5,000 LUT count. So the Chip Design for High School program, the curriculum ends at Verilog code, and that Verilog code they have to burn on this particular FPGA board. So that gives them a complete cycle. At least a 12th or 6th grade or a 12th grade students now understands, okay, this is what is chip design. I have a Verilog code, and the Verilog code is getting programmed on this FPGA board, and I'm able to see things working. So that opens
yes,
up his brain, and he has got a lot more idea about what chip design is. And this is the board for those for chip design for high school students. So there are three different kinds of boards, and there is one more board which is in production for the ML applications. That is only for developers, people who want to build ML high-speed applications, and they have really innovative ideas in the areas of machine learning algorithms. They can actually deploy, use the other board, which is something which is going to come in 2 weeks or a time. So these are the four different kinds of boards. Very soon there will be a page which displays all the four boards. I'll send you the link to that. I think that they can make a
Yes, please
choice.
provide all the links that student can get access to you
Yeah, yeah,
through those links. I'll put
yeah,
that in the video description later on,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and in the comment, I will have a pinned comment, so there also people can see those links and directly
Right.
contact you,
Yeah, yeah, of
because
course.
that is the power of YouTube, right? YouTube
Yeah,
can reach out to, even as I have said, a person who is having a mobile phone having
mm,
2 GB of data.
right.
I don't know how minds will get connected, but
Yes, yes.
we have to look for possibilities, right?
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
there could be talents hidden in the corner of the country. We
Correct,
don't know which talent will come up and rise in maybe next 20, 30 years or 40 years.
correct,
That time
correct.
probably our hair will grow white, and
Yeah,
will be almost non-functional.
right,
So
right, right.
yeah, so but
But one
those,
thing is one thing which is not going to change, and which is so what future comes, we don't know. But customers will be always needing things faster. They will need things
yes,
cheaper, and they will need high quality. So these three
yes,
are the principles on which even VSD operates. We are focusing on how to make things cheaper, make things faster, and make things high quality. If all three fit in the right places, I think the future is something which we own, which all of us own the future.
yes, that are the metrics that will
Yes,
drive your
drive. Yeah,
VST.
correct.
So I think I am out of questions, but however, there are a couple of comments came, so I'll
Okay.
display in the screen.
Yeah, sure.
First of all, this is from Tarun, and Tarun say hi Kunal, and says you are doing great work. So
Okay. Thanks.
Tarun
Thanks.
has shared this, and later on he asked this question, that why there are less openings in freshers in VLSI. I
Yeah.
don't think
So
that is.
So basically, yeah, for freshers, as I said, the moment you pass, in fact, when I passed out of BTech, I didn't think I was in par, or I was ready to take on the VLSI projects, because they are at a different level. That there is a gap in what we do in BTech versus what industry starts on. And second thing, the moment industry hires you, so the way business works is, industry has hired you for X salary because they are going to make 10x money from that particular salary. That's why they are paying you X, and so that they can make 10x. And to make that X, to make sure that they are paying you X money, they need that particular work done. That's basically something, how businesses operate. And there's nothing that we can do about it, because they also are over here to make profits. Because X money that goes to you, the remaining 9x goes to marketing, promotions, sales, many things. You run an entire company.
Establishment cost is also another thing that,
Establishment cost, OPEX, CAPEX, all of it, it is there. So the moment they have to hire, if let's say if they hire a fresher directly from the college, and if they have to teach you what to do, that is something which the industry is not ready to do right now. So that's why, as I said, 9 months to 12 months is something which you have to spend in the field and create some good document, where you have to sell yourself. You have to tell that you have really done your GitHub repository, or your resume, or your document, or your project report should say that you're actually ready to be hired, and you are ready to do projects in the VLSI companies. And that is the main reason why companies, even when we also look for people who are building our boards, or doing our IP, the first 8 to 9 weeks is just to make sure they understand things, and they do labs, they do sufficient amount of labs. That is what even we also do. It's not that companies are the only ones who are doing it. And there are not less openings. There are less amount of freshers who are aware of what needs to be done, because company wants to make they want to make sure that you are productive from day one. And if that is not there, they will not hire, even though they have the budget, even though the openings are there. They will be still open, unless you show them that you are really ready to take on the projects right from day one. So that is one of the reasons.
at least you are able to demonstrate what they need. So there is a
Yeah.
demand and supply matching. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Another
one of
thing,
our students, the one who built this board, when he goes to his interviews, so basically he carries his project. He said that this is what I built. So all the questions are around this board or this question. So once you carry your project in your interview, they are pretty confident that, "And since you have built this board," or one of our students, she has built D2A converters. So she had an interview in US, one of the US companies. She just showed her GitHub repository, and based on the GitHub repository, she was basically hired in one of the companies in US. It was an AI company. So you have to show something that you're really capable of delivering something. Then only there are the companies are going to hire. That's true for any human nature. I mean, it's not just companies. It's when we for example, very great example is
Yeah,
when we hire a maid in our house. We don't want to teach the maid that, you have to do this, how to do pocha and how to do lati. We want them to be proactive from day one. It's true for me also. If students, for example, students want to get to my courses, they should not be teaching me how to make courses. I should be capable enough to deliver the right thing. So else they'll not buy the courses. It's very true for everybody. So it's not only VLSI, it's true for every fresher, every entrepreneur, everyone in this whole world.
so industry basically it's a machinery. When you have to enter and sit in the machinery, you have to be a moving gearbox.
You have
That
to
means
moving
you are not,
gearbox. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so
The
that you
machine
can
will
fit
stop.
into the entire
Very good.
machinery and you move as the other gears move. So
Yeah, yeah. That's a very
that
good
is that
example.
is the,
Very
yeah,
good analogy. Yeah.
yeah. Another thing is that do you have internship openings with you? If you can provide some link, I can put it in the description, right?
Yeah. So,
Because when I interact with
yes.
youngsters over social media and other things, right,
Mhm.
they ask for the what about the internship, and many times the youngsters also have a concept of that is the internship is something that is theoretical. No, it's actual work that you are
Actual
doing.
work, yeah, yeah. So the this board comes with free internship. The moment you get this board, you can do internship, and since the board is very low cost, you yourself can figure out whether you really fit into the machinery, as you said. That's a very good analogy actually. So once you do the
Yeah.
internship, you basically get an idea whether you really fit in the machinery. Else, what you will lose just 1,000 rupees, because there's only 1,000 rupees. So this is a very good less investment and more amount of practical knowledge, and maximum you will lose 1,000 rupees if you're not able to finish the internship. But the thing that you will gain is that you might land up a 22 lakhs per annum job. You never know. But this internship, 4 weeks internship, might be just your starting point. You might go for many more free programs that we also offer as a part of our own package for really good students. And you might end up spending 6 to 9 months with us, and you might really land up in a very good job. So minimum 1,000 rupees is the investment that you have to do for these kind of programs.
And this is an investment not on a physical hardware. This is actually investment on yourself.
On
So
their career,
think in that
yes.
manner.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, of course.
So there is a concept, because almost in India, I think, who are brought up in the 90s, we have a concept because we are almost brought up in the middle class families. So
Right.
we have think everything in terms of expense, and we do not
Yeah.
think that this is an investment for future.
Investment. Right. Right.
So when you are investing on these things, you should count these as these are investment. These are my investment. I am investing on myself.
Yeah.
Even
Yes.
today, people think on the healthcare sector, they invest on health.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes. Yes.
so
True.
that is anything, either your mental exercise, physical exercise, that
Yeah.
is an investment on yourself. You
Yes.
grow stronger physically, you grow stronger mentally, you grow
Yes.
stronger skillfully. So
Yes. Exactly. And
yeah,
it's for
so
long term.
that
It's for
should be
long
the
term.
outlook. That should
Mhm.
be the outlook when you are spending money, because we have to come out of the era when we are brought up in the maybe in the 80s or 90s. That
Right.
time things, the economy around us was forcing us to think in a different way. Now the
Right. Right.
economy is changing,
Now
so
it
we
is
have
changing.
to changing according to the economy, and we have to think that it is not spending, it's
Yes.
investing.
Investing. Correct. Correct. And this is just a burger cost. You skip
Yeah,
one
yeah.
day burger.
Yeah, even if you try to find a good book like McGraw Hill or something,
Yeah.
it will cost 1,000 rupees or
Yeah.
maybe more
Yeah.
than
Same.
that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I'll go to the next question. I'll remove this. Next question is, Kunal sir, is your program only online?
Yeah, yeah, completely online. I mean, totally, totally online. 2011 onwards, it was online. It was always online, because at that point of time we didn't have the money to invest in a brick and mortar case, because I also myself was a fresher at that point of time. So it was online from that point, and it has been still online for a long time.
Okay, so I'll hide this question. I think answer is there, and links. Kunal, please provide. I'll put in the description, the comment, so
Okay,
that
sure.
people who are watching the video
Mhm.
can contact you directly.
Yeah, yeah. They can call me. I mean, if my number, you
Yeah,
can take it down, 9686428727. They can directly contact me.
yeah. So
24
I'll
cross
put
7.
that detail. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
put
yeah,
that details. People will directly contact you. Let
yeah,
me
yeah.
hide
Except
it.
except
And
except nine night 12 o'clock to morning 5 o'clock.
yeah,
I'm round the clock available for
yeah.
students.
In that case, you can drop a SMS or WhatsApp.
Yeah,
What I think Kunal will, when wake up, Kunal will see
I
that
will.
and
Yes, yes,
respond
definitely,
back. So
definitely.
there are multiple modes of communication. That is also important in the industry. You must know that if there is a person active, so you do the active mode of communication. If that person is that time passive, do you do the passive mode of communication, which is
Yeah,
written, maybe
right.
WhatsApp, maybe Microsoft Teams, maybe email or something like that. That you also have to know when you work in the industry.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
yeah,
for me, WhatsApp is the best. I will
yeah,
get immediate response, and use me. I'm available. Just try to use me as much as possible. I'm
yeah,
available
yeah.
free of cost.
That's what I said in the initial time, that I'm connected with you in LinkedIn maybe more than
Uh,
a decade, and I
uh,
see you have a lot of energy. So
yeah,
that
yeah.
is what the first comment I made today.
Exactly, exactly.
And I'm happy to bring you in front of the audience who are watching and will be watching the recorded version of this. And the next question, I think, might be relevant, might be with the certain recent buzz. So here is the question. Thank you so much for the podcast, and Kunal, for your great insights. I want to know the thoughts on quantum chip and where it is going. So,
No idea.
quantum chip, and first of all, in this area, in VLSI or hardware area, there are separate individuals with separate expertise. So I'll not force Kunal, but I, based on this question, I take a note, and if it is for me, it is good to bring some expertise who can speak on that. And
Yeah,
Kunal, if you are would
I
like,
can give them
yeah,
a hint. Basically,
yeah.
as we said, just a few minutes back, that people will be needing things faster and cheaper and at high quality. The faster thing is related to the quantum chip. You want to do for example, most of the AI applications, they are dependent on the matrix multiplication. Most of the AI applications are nothing but matrix multiplications. How fast you can do those, how the processor has to do those multiplications very fast. So those matrix computations, if you are able to do it in seconds or milliseconds, that is where quantum is going to it is going to change the whole world. I mean, 3-4 years down the line, you will also hear from VSD talking a lot about this kind of technologies, but it is going to be the next thing. uh, but not right now. Right now, I think it is the server, the GPUs are enough for us to uh, do this matrix computations. But going forward, yeah, 4 years down the line, I'm definitely this is something VSD will also be venturing into. You will hear from us very soon.
So I think that question and comment from the viewer is giving seed both to me and both to Kunal in different
Yeah.
perspectives.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
we hold that seed in our hand,
Of
and
course.
we promise to deliver the trees
Of course,
in
of
our
course.
own different perspective to the audience.
Of course. Yeah, definitely.
And thank you, Kunal, for coming to this podcast. And
Yeah.
hopefully, the purpose of this podcast is to spread awareness,
Yeah.
spread the knowledge, bridge the gap.
Yes.
What is there? It may be for individual. It may be as a curriculum, right? So we
Right.
have to do this, and I think we are continuing with the podcast. Thank you very
Sure,
much
sure.
for
Thank
coming
you.
today.
Thank you. Thank you so
And we
much
had
for inviting.
and that it will be openly available to everybody, and it's not going to vanish. It will stay
Yeah.
as long as the YouTube server is there.
Sure.
So
Okay, okay, good.
people
So yes,
can
everybody,
watch.
everybody just keep smiling, keep enjoying.
Yeah,
This is a
yeah,
very great field, has got a very great future. And I mean, engineering, it is the engineering at the next level.
yeah,
I
yeah,
myself, I'm seeing a lot of exciting times over here. Keep enjoying the field. I think all of you have got a very bright field, very bright
yeah,
career in front of you. Thank you so much for your
yeah, yeah. Thank you, Kunal. And we will end our live streaming right now for
sure,
this podcast. Thank you, viewers, for joining also. And thank you, viewers, for watching it later.
of course.
So, Kunal, bye for today. Thank
Okay,
you. Thank
thank
you.
you so much. Bye,
Bye.
bye.